Hey everyone, it's your girl Soul Fab, and I am here with the one and only Dr. Janze Taylor.
Hi.
How you doing, honey?
I'm doing.
So, of course, we're bringing to you our Embody Balance segment. And this is all about Dr. Janze and her business, Embody Wellness and Body Hydration and Wellness. And this episode in particular, we're going to do something a little bit special because as you guys have seen in the past, Dr. Janze has come on. She's told you a little bit about her background and her expertise and all the subject matter regarding weight loss injections and IV hydration and all of those things like that. But this time we're actually going to get to the nitty gritty. We're actually going to start answering some of the questions that people are having surrounded around both topics. But before we get into that, let's do our check-in. How you doing, Dr. Janze?
I'm doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
good. It's good.
I know that's right.
Busy.
But blessed.
Yes.
I know.
That's most important.
I know.
Yep.
I know. And hey, fam, I see you. How you doing, Coral?
Hey.
I think that is one thing that we should touch on, especially considering the holidays, because a lot of people have a lot of mixed emotions around the holidays. Some good, some bad, some in between. How's your heart around the holidays?
I love the holidays, especially Christmas. And I think
it's Christmas girly.
I am. I love the gift giving, like the joy of celebrating the holiday. I have 3 boys, and so we kind of started this tradition where Christmas Eve we'll watch a Christmas movie. So we'll sit on the couch, all of us, in our PJs and blankets, and we'll watch a Christmas movie. It seems to always be Polar Express.
Really?
Yeah.
I fall asleep on that movie every time.
We've done it for years, and it just kind of became like something that we do.
That is so cool.
It's like a little tradition, but you don't really think about it as a tradition until like we start doing it every year. And so we used to so we'll watch the movie and we'll have the gifts like in the closet somewhere. And so we would be up to like 2 or 3 in the morning wrapping gifts, putting them under the tree. So we did that for a long time, and I think just the joy of them waking up and seeing like Christmas tree presents under the tree.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it was just always a joy to see them excited and happy. And we actually probably about 5 years ago, during COVID, started this tradition where we do the matching PJs.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That is so adorable.
Yeah.
That's so adorable.
Yeah. And last year, I did the hot chocolate. So we watched a movie and we did hot chocolate, which was fun, sweet to death.
Hello.
And would tear your stomach to pieces.
And will.
The next day, I was like, what in the world?
Yes, boo, 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 boo.
And I'm in there trying to cook, and I'm like, watch the food for me.
You're stupid.
I'll be back. But it's fun, and I think the boys look forward to it.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different this year because our 21-year-old actually moved out and has his own place. Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out a little bit, but either way, we'll still do something, I'm sure.
And one thing that I think is pretty cool, like even with traditions, if someone moves out or moves on, sometimes you do kind of just connect just for that tradition. Like even when I moved out, I still went over my mom's house for us to pop popcorn, like you said, blankets, and her thing was Rudolph. She loved the clay animation, old-fashioned one. But it's that nostalgia of when she and her sisters and her mom and dad and all of them would sit around and watch Rudolph. So passing down those traditions, which I think are important. And, for you guys watching, definitely chime in on what are some of your Christmas time traditions. What do you like to do? What do you like to pass on? Because it's fun.
It is.
Because the holidays can be heavy.
It can.
But if you can take a moment just to do something special with a friend, family member, significant other, whomever, start your own traditions.
Right.
And make it fun. Don't put too much thought into it. But like you said, do hot chocolate, do matching PJs, a stupid movie to watch, and just enjoy having that, companionship.
Yep. So it's been fun. And we'll continue. We might evolve a little bit now that the boys are older. And I thought about maybe we should like vacation somewhere or some, that'll be nice. Just like one year we were kind of in transition a little bit, and so we did a trip to Universal Studios, and so that was
yay.
part of their Christmas. And I created this little ticket and put it in the envelope and a little thing, and I had shirts made and all that stuff. So that was
so
we left the
cute.
next morning to drive to Florida, and it was well needed, but they had such a good time. And so we try to make little traditions like that. And
Yeah.
even last year, like when school ended, actually this year when school ended for the boys, we drove to Florida for a little bit for a couple of days, almost like about 4 or 5 days or so.
Yeah.
And went to Disney or Universal Studios. Actually, we've gone back to Disney, and I'm like, Disney is such a magical place. I tell you, it's just something about being there. But the boys love it.
That is awesome. And I love the fact that it's creating the experience, but it's a thoughtful experience.
Yep.
You know, where you said like, okay, I have the tickets, they're printed out, and then the next morning we're leaving.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can easily be like, we're going to Universal Studios in May. Now sit your ass down. Like, this wasn't fun.
Yeah. And I packed their bags and everything. I was like, bring me some clothes, but they had no idea. So yeah.
That is so thoughtful.
And they were a little bit younger than that now, but obviously. But yeah, just little things like that, I try to do. For me, I don't care much, about getting gifts and stuff, but it's just about making them feel just being with family and my kids and just creating memories.
That is so awesome. I love that. I love thoughtfulness because it just takes it up a whole entire notch.
Yeah.
You know? So, well, I love that. And that is awesome. Like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I didn't even put up my tree yet. Did you put your tree up? Yeah. Okay. I don't feel so bad. Because
I ain't got nothing up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's there. And
I'm thinking like, ooh, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Because I'm not somebody that just throws ornaments on. Like, no, my tree has to look a certain type of way. Like, you would think that somebody was coming in to judge because I'm like, no.
Well, you should come decorate my tree.
I would love to. I love to decorate a tree.
Oh, girl, yeah.
Give me a
My husband loves all the ornaments and stuff. And, now we let the boys, decorate and stuff. And I'll go and, do, but I kind of let them, let that be them.
This is a one-person show. Don't touch my tree. I need to know the theme and I need a budget. And real quickly before we get into our questions, at my old job, it was my responsibility, marketing. I don't know how I ended up being like a office decorator, but it was my responsibility to do the Christmas decorations, and I had 3 offices to decorate. Each office had their own theme. Downtown had like the snow white sort of feel, and it was accented in gold.
Yeah.
North Raleigh had pink, like pastels, pink, greens, blue, stuff like that. And then my Wake Forest location did the old fashioned Christmas with like the burlap, the red and black and things like that. Girl, I was like, what's the budget? And each one was decorated, had its own little magical topper. I love it. I love it.
Cute. I would love that if somebody come and did that.
Oh. What is your color scheme and what is the budget? And if you don't have one, I will make it happen.
I promise you, we got enough stuff. My husband, he likes, we'll go out and he see a nice ornament or something, especially around the holidays, we'll go and shop for little stuff. So we have plenty.
Oh, I love it. But I will absolutely. If anybody wants me to come and decorate, I would do it. I love to decorate a tree. And especially when someone's like, I don't know, but here's your budget. Enough said. And I'll be under budget. Boom. So today's show is all about us getting the necessary questions answered when it comes to IV hydration and weight loss injections, because these are very popular methods when it comes to holistic healthcare and just, losing weight. Been talked about all on social media. Like even the rapper Fat Joe recently came out and credited Ozempic for his weight loss. And he was like, I'm so grateful for that drug because I would not have lost the weight, any other way. Yep. And we all have seen the significant weight loss with him. But I mean, unfortunately you can see what the weight has done to his knees. So eventually he'll need a knee replacement, but still, for him to say like, look, you can say what you want. Ozempic helped me. Yeah. So this is now the solution for a lot of people who are having trouble with weight loss. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit more. Yep. So let's get into question number 1. You ready, Dr. Janze?
I'm ready.
You got this. Okay. So the first one, what is the typical cost of these treatments? And do you think they're accessible to most people?
So for the weight loss shots, the weekly injectables, it varies. And you will see a lot of people that offer these different like med spas and some doctor's offices, possibly. The problem is insurance doesn't cover it. And so that's why a lot of us are offering it. So for my prices, they can range between $400 and $600. Depends on what drug you use. And the way I go about the pricing is, of course, for me to purchase it, it costs money.
Absolutely.
And so I do lab work if needed. So I have to factor in costs with all that. And so what for semaglutide, which is like your Ozempic, but for me, I have to get it from a compound pharmacy. And of course, there's like a lot of controversy around that too. But that's why I tried the product myself and it works. And so if you understand compound pharmacy, you understand that they are regulated by FDA, most of them anyway. But they're able to make the product because it's been on a shortage list. But if you, and I tell folks, like if your insurance will cover it, go through your insurance to get
Absolutely.
because it obviously will save you money. But for me, I do one specific cost for semaglutide, and then tirzepatide is a little bit more, but I keep the cost between $500 and $600. And I explain all that when I see my patients. And so the difference between the two, they basically work similar. One just works on a hormone, an extra hormone. And how we determine who gets what and what started is really, we have a conversation about that too, but I explain both.
Right.
And so what is better for your budget, honestly, is where it boils down to for a lot of people.
Absolutely. And when you say compound pharmacy, is it kind of like the same thing for pharmacists that offer generics?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Got it. Well, that's simply, no, that's where you explained it so well. That's my girl. That's my girl. So then, hold on. Do you know if insurance have a plan to cover it in the future?
It would be nice.
Good question.
There are some insurances that will still cover it. Most don't. And it, we all know a lot of cases it's just money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so there's been push, to try to keep it covered. I don't know. I know here in North Carolina, the state, I think, was trying to push it. Now, insurance will cover it if you have like diabetes, certain cardiovascular risk factors, like history of coronary artery disease, heart attack, things like that. But for pre-diabetes with like heart failure, things like that, you may be able to get it pushed through. Some insurances will only cover one and not the other, or they'll start you on one. You have to start on one, and then if that doesn't work, you may have to. So it's just a lot of different factors that you have to know about. But that's where you go and talk with your if you have those health issues, talk with your primary care doctor and see if. And I always tell people, see if they'll do it. You can even call yourself and ask your insurance company if they'll cover it. The problem is a lot of us are obese, morbid obese, and we don't have diabetes or heart failure or any coronary artery disease that's been tested. Or,
Exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I had the discussion with my insurance provider, when I was thinking about getting on the injections, they literally told me, you're not diabetic. So we're not going to cover it for you. And I'm like, okay, well, can I do the tirzepatide? Like, I think it's also called Zepbound. And insurance would not cover it whatsoever. However, if I had diabetes, it would only been $50.
And even like I tried it. My doctor tried to get it for me because I was considered morbid obese. And I had kind of was teetering the scale of pre-diabetes. I've had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with my baby. And, I've had a family history of like stroke and things like that. But no, I was denied. They wouldn't cover. Now, you can still get it from the pharmacy, but it will cost you about... I think I've heard between 1,000 to 1,600, and that's just for 4 weeks supply.
Mine was 990 something. If I wanted to pay out of pocket, I said, "Now, girl, you knew better than even tell me that."
Somebody was like, "I just left it at the pharmacy." I'm like, "I would too. I can get you like 2 months, 2.5 months worth with that much."
It is okay. So, you said 500. Is that for multiple sessions or just one?
So the way I price mine is basically, so I purchase your own medicine. And so that can typically last you the first anyway, when you first get started, can last you about 4 to 6 weeks. So I charge per, like, all right, I order you your first one. This is the cost of
Mhm.
it. And then once you're getting where it's like, okay, let's order, the next vial. Then I charge then. So it could be between 4 and 6 weeks.
Which, if you're charging, like you said, $400 for the first month, then essentially you're paying $100 per injection, which is
Pretty
better
much.
than paying
Or a little less
900.
because the
Yeah.
first one can last you honestly about 5 or 6 weeks.
Ah, well then there you go.
Mhm.
Because like you said, now if you try to get that through your doctor and you don't have diabetes, they're
Yeah.
gonna be like, you wouldn't pay $9,000.
Okay.
I'm sorry. One more question before we move on to the next. Did the state plan cover them?
I don't know unless you have diabetes. I would say call your insurance company and see. And see if they cover. I think last I heard, this was probably summer-ish or right before summertime. They were thinking about not covering it. So I'm not sure what the final result was with that, but I would say reach out to your insurance company and see if that's something that they would cover.
And then ask them for both. So not only
Yes.
Mounjaro and Ozempic, but you want to say Zepbound as well.
Yes,
just to
absolutely.
see.
Yep.
Because typically, if you're not diabetic, you will be prescribed Zepbound, correct?
Well, so the thing is, you have Wegovy and Ozempic. Basically, it's the same thing.
Okay.
It's just one FDA approved for diabetes, and the other one is approved for weight loss. So it's the same thing with Mounjaro and Zepbound.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, people, it just honestly depends. Some people start on the Ozempic, and and that's because the way insurance works, you have to start on that one. If that doesn't work, then sometimes your primary care doctor can see if they can get you Zepbound. In some cases, I've seen you just get Mounjaro off top, and which is great because that's the one I really like, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the tirzepatide.
The tirzepatide.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. And this one says, can you share a success story, anonymously, of course, of a client who achieved great results with these injections?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a client too.
Hello. Talk about it.
So I started on it before I even really announced it. So I was my own guinea pig along with a few people. But I have one client that I always highlight and I talk about because she is always talking about it and sharing. So, but she came to me. She had, of course, history of obesity. We worked together. Her insurance didn't cover, of course, because she wasn't diabetic,
right,
but has had a history of like gastric, like surgery, weight loss surgery. And so she had a prescription, and it's was just took forever to get it. But come to find out, insurance wasn't covering it. And so we got her started June 1st, actually, and she is now down over 50 pounds.
Good for her.
And I really am so proud of her because she really, like, when I tell people, it's not just come get this drug and you come back and see me in 4 weeks. No, let's have a conversation about your eating. Like, this is what I recommend. Exercising. And she really just took control of everything and just, I mean, she really, she is doing it. I will say.
Awesome.
She even like cut her social media, like some of the food places that she follows. She texted me one day and was like, it's like a lot of food noise. And so she went unfollowed over 150 accounts.
Wow.
And so she really, I mean, she looks good. She feels good. I'm just super proud of her. But that is one that I always highlight and talk about because it is doable. And if you do the right things, it'll work for you.
Right. There we go.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the next one is, how do you help clients set realistic expectations for their weight loss journey? This is really good because we're going down that track.
Yeah. So what I tell people, this is not a sprint. Like you don't expect to lose, 20 pounds in 10 days. Not on this. And honestly, that's not the way you want to lose weight. Because, like low carb, all that's all good. But unless you really change your mindset, nothing is going to be permanent. Not even weight loss surgery. So let's talk about that. Nothing is permanent, honestly, unless you just take your stomach out and Because your stomach is a muscle and people have, and some people are great, have are very successful with these surgeries or anything, but it's a mindset and you have to really stick to what you're doing. And so realistically, I tell people don't expect to lose weight maybe until, a month after being on these injections, but
which is good for people to understand
yes.
because it's been marketed that as soon as you get on this, you're going to drop the weight.
Nope. And it's a slow weight loss. And I usually say between 1 to 5 pounds because people, it just varies. And I tell people you may not even see your scale move the first month, but you may feel like your shirt. For me, I put my shirt on and it just kind of fell over my shoulder. I don't care about that scale. Like I'm unbig in my back. I know. Like that's right. I can put on the XL and be like, oh, I might need a large.
Right.
So a win is a win and you have to think about it that way. And I tell people small steps, like small victories. Losing weight is stressful and stress will cause weight gain. And so one thing at a time, let's get started on the injections or whatever it is that we do. And then let's start let's start doing, changing your eating, drinking more water, high protein, especially on this weight loss journey. When it comes to exercising, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to be somewhere like sweating my hair out. Look, I don't get relaxers, and so I need to. Girl, and I ain't got relax in almost 15 years.
I know that's right. It looks like you do.
I know. So I got to preserve these edges.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't want to sweat my hair out, but you should be moving. Walking is fantastic because walking really does something for you. Like low impact, whatever you do, move, park a little bit further, just really like get your body going. And so the goal is not to be on this for like 2-3 years.
Right.
Is to be on it to get to your goal. Yes, we can stay on it for a little while longer. And I tell people let's do a maintenance dose. Exactly. But then slowly start coming off on it. I've kind of weaned myself off and on a couple of times just for personal. I've gotten to a point where I'm okay. I'm good with my weight. And then I'll come off, but I may still eat 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day. And I'm not eating a ton.
Exactly.
And so I've been able to maintain. I've gained like, in the holiday, you eat everything.
And do.
So I probably gained like 3 pounds or something, but nothing. But I can easily get that off. Yeah, it's the 50 pounds that you can't get off.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. And let me tell you something. Gaining weight is so much fun.
It's easy to gain weight.
It's so easy because you can just eat and drink and be merry.
Yeah, and then you like,
I am 80 million pounds.
Right. But it's the hard thing is losing weight. And so that's why I try to, I encourage, coupling this with a weight loss. And I actually have a weight loss journal that's going to come out. And meal prepping. Now, honestly, meal prepping, if you meal prep for the week, it is the best thing.
Yes. Yeah. And I will say, I'm glad you spoke to that because I haven't been on tirzepatide, so I wasn't sure of like, okay, how fast am I going to lose weight? Because like I said, when you look at social media, everyone's dropping weight like that. But we honestly don't know when their process began. We're only seeing the afterwards. So I stepped on the scale and I'm like, I only lost 5 pounds this month. I'm like, first of all, let's eliminate only because 5 pounds is a lot, and then 2, don't be so hard on yourself because like you said, if you drop the weight fast, you'll gain it back fast, and it didn't happen overnight. Like I didn't just wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm fluffy. Like this was a continual thing. So you got to show yourself some grace.
You do.
To know that, okay, getting it off is going to take time as well.
Right. And I think we're in a culture or this era, we want things quick. Like, this is not a quick. And I tell people you have to trust the process. Don't look at, what girlfriend over here doing. Like she lost 50 pounds. Like, great. That's not you though.
Right.
Your body is built different. Your hormones are different. And so I have to tell people, stop looking at somebody else because your path is different. What works for them may not work for you.
Exactly.
And honestly, some of these meds, these injectables may not work for everybody. Some people I've had, people that really just had a slow weight loss and there's nothing I can do about it because we just don't know. But if you keep at it, change up your eating habits. And that's what I stress a lot because that's a big part of losing weight is what you're eating. So
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, did we do? How do you address stigma or misconceptions about medical weight loss treatments?
So, you hear a lot on social media, Google, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Google, and you just have to really discern just keep an open mind. Not everybody is people going to talk about their experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? And these are sometimes non-medical people. You may have medical people that say, oh, talk bad about it, whatever. But you just have to do your due diligence and just really, the Bible say, study to show thyself approved, right?
Hello.
Read, study,
Mm-hmm.
talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always, I have consultations. You can come and talk with me, and I'm not afraid to tell you about what I think about it, because this is what makes the world go around. Everybody got an opinion about something, um, but I'm here to be truthful. Because this is my blessing here,
Absolutely.
and I want to be a blessing to others. And so I'm not going to tell you something wrong, intentional. I will tell you my experience and my knowledge of it.
So, what's a common misconception about weight loss injections or IV hydration that even health professionals sometimes get wrong?
Yeah, that's a good question. So IV hydration, interestingly, not a lot of healthcare professionals even know about it.
Mm.
Yeah. I have one of my friends, I call her my friend,
Mm-hmm.
who has been coming um, every couple of weeks or so, getting them. And so when she talked to her doctor and told her about, she was coming to get like IV vitamins, and her
Mm-hmm.
doctor said she had never heard about it. And she said, but whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working for you.
Awesome.
And so it's fairly new concept. You know about it like in New York, California, all those big
Mm-hmm.
states, Georgia and stuff.
Yes.
They're doing it. And then you see a lot of people on TV
Mm-hmm.
getting them done. So it's starting to really gain some attraction and popularity. But what a lot of people, unless you're kind of in the industry, don't realize that honestly, this vitamin concept came from a doctor who
Mm-hmm.
had patients with like asthma, cancer, just different health illnesses, and created this concept of vitamin therapy. And a lot of generally everybody offers the Myers cocktail. It varies a little bit as far as
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, but basically it's named after the doctor that does it. So,
I never knew that. Mm.
and so when a lot of people, they talk about, I think they get caught up in, I don't know what that stuff is.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of close yourself off from understanding really what it is and how it can benefit you. And so literally, and I tell people it's just vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, it's like a multivitamin. It's in a liquid form and it goes in your veins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The fluids you get is what you get if you go to the hospital. And so it's really just about boosting your health. And so a lot of people still don't know about it. So I do a lot of education and talking about like what
Right.
it is and how these vitamins help us, and how some are produced by our bodies or not. Some we have to get from the foods that we eat.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And then why? Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just in general, because people will often think like, oh, that's a Hollywood thing, but what makes you think that they're doing it? Because they
Right.
know the effectiveness behind it,
Right.
or because your schedule is so tiresome that you're running amok
Mhm.
and you're not getting exactly what you should be getting from these vitamins,
Right.
even though, some doctors
Mhm.
and marketing will tell you otherwise of like, oh, these vitamins are so effective,
Yep.
but really you're only absorbing how much of a percentage of them?
Probably less than 40. And if you have like GI issues, and that's a big reason why I got
Mhm.
into, more of a basic health and wellness, is because I had GI issues,
Mhm.
like to start in nursing school. Any nurse know about that? And so I really got into like gut health.
Yes.
And so I've tried vitamins and they just don't do well on my stomach.
Right.
And so the pills are like horse size.
Facts. Mhm.
So this method, honestly, is just a quicker way and much nicer way to get your vitamins and to get hydrated.
Mhm.
But it really goes to the cells where it needs to be.
Exactly.
And so I'm bypassing my gut. So that big pill that you take, you're probably getting about that much out of it by the time. And then you still have to take enough of
Right.
it to really get into your system.
Exactly.
And so you're bypassing all that. So that's the real benefit of it. And people just don't quite understand it because they don't
Mhm.
know a lot about it.
Exactly.
But again, it goes to educating yourself, not closing yourself off from something that could truly be beneficial. Clearly, my friend, her doctor said it's working for her. Whatever she's doing, keep doing it. So there is some benefit to it.
So then that leads me to this question where how do you respond to criticism that IV hydration is just expensive water or that weight loss injections are unnecessary for most people?
Well, that's interesting. I've never heard people say expensive water, but it'll be more expensive if you dehydrate and you go to the ED.
Hello.
I could have given you a whole year's supply on that. But I just, it's all about education. So I am one that people will say what they think. And I will tell you medical knowledge about it. But I'm not going to drill it in you. I'm not going to beat you over the head. I am not one to try to convince you. I will give you the education on it, whether you take it or not. That's up to you. But when people start, I'm like, okay,
you're not my clientele,
all right. Yeah. I just be like, okay. Yeah. Okay. Because you've already got your mind made up.
Yes.
And as much as I really want to break that barrier, it's just, there's layers. And so today is not the day. So we just gonna keep moving, and I just be like, okay. But still I'll be like, yeah, it's just vitamins is what I tell her. It's literally just vitamins.
Exactly.
You will go and put a piece of food in your mouth that has had chemicals, antibiotics, and all that stuff, and you're scared to put vitamins in your body that will flush toxins out.
Now, we didn't have this conversation with Auntie V where people will put their mouth on or in, if you catch my drift, anything. But this is where you draw the line.
Okay.
This is where you say, I can't continue when it's something that is beneficial towards your health, because we're now talking about preventative care.
Exactly.
Let's get ahead of this before it's too late, because like you said, when we start talking about these doctor visits, specialty visits, and medication, all of that racks up. And insurance is not on our side.
No. And I mean, you have a copay for some specialties, $50 to $250.
Yes,
you can come and get 2 drips for $250.
Boom.
And that's just a basic drip. I mean, we can just get you plain fluids.
Hello.
To set you on the path of wellness. But
exactly. And get you feeling better.
That's it.
But then instead you want to be in the ER looking crazy.
Yeah.
Now what? Then now they want to come to you. Well, can I? Nope.
Right. Right. And then the point of the weight loss, like you hear a lot of people, again, we go back to the compound products. And people have their opinions about it. I'm not going to be like, you shouldn't think that way. No, you think the way you think because you are who you are. But it's my purpose to educate and to talk about and discuss. And hey, I try and I'm still upright, and I can promise you I feel amazing.
No, that's right. And not to mention, like you said, your sons do this, athletes do this, and they are expected to perform, at the highest level possible. So if they are believing in this and saying like, well, look, I just need an IV drip because I got to get better, I got to feel better, then why shouldn't we, the average everyday consumer, consider it?
Right. Right.
I don't know, y'all. I'm just saying. So then let's see. What's the next question? What's a red flag clients should look out for when selecting a provider for these treatments? That's a really good question.
Yeah, that is. So if you have like a specific issue that you're trying to address, whether it's fatigue, brain fog, you're trying to get over a recent cold or whatever the case may be. If they can't say, hey, this is what I recommend, or even have a conversation to say, hey, what is it that you need? What's going on? How are you feeling? So that I'll know exactly how to treat you. And so if you can't get those questions answered, or you just feeling uncomfortable, I mean, you have to use some discernment with people.
Absolutely.
I am one that my reason for starting, yes, it's something that a lot of people are doing now. But my reason for starting was because I really want to help people get better. So I want to understand why you want to come in and get a drip, so that I'll know that you're getting the right thing, even if I have to customize it a little bit. So I would just be cautious about people that can't tell you what the benefit is, or hey, I'm feeling this. Well, maybe you should try this. Well, no, this is what
Right.
I would recommend. And it's
Exactly.
a decision for ultimately you got to decide what you want. But
Exactly.
I give you this is what I recommend. And, let's try this, or let's do this. And then you come back and try this, or,
Mhm.
or something like that. So I think if it can't be, a little bit more personable for you, and it's geared to what you're feeling or what you
Exactly.
need, I think you should, just kind of be like, maybe I should go to Dr. Janze.
Right. Right.
Or if you go in and this just the customer service isn't there, you're spending your money.
Say that again.
Come to Dr. Janze.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll love on you now.
Hello and Will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I'll say too is what I want people to be cautious of when they're signing up for these, weight loss injection, programs and things like that you're seeing and probably will see on your phone because we're having a conversation around it.
Yep.
Where everything is AI generated.
Mhm.
Now I get it. AI is to help save time,
Yep.
but then also you're not getting that personable, conversation. You're not getting that person who is saying, I've been through this. Here's my journey. Here's before, here's after, here's clients, here's testimonials. You're literally just talking to a generated program that knows and is essentially coming up with answers to the questions because they've already, ran it through a system of these are the most common questions that are answered.
Yep.
So let's answer them.
Mhm.
You'll get frustrated.
Yep.
And before you know it, you've spent money on something and you're not really taking it seriously because you don't have anyone there to coax you and to, congratulate you on your wins, to talk to you through your frustrations and your questions. So instead of taking the time to find the get quick, I need access to these injections
Yep.
or I need access to this medication, go to somebody who is like, just come into my office. We can talk.
Yep. Yep.
And
And you see a lot, and to your point, you see a lot of commercials, you see a lot of
Yes.
ads coming on your Facebook. All these companies now are
Yes.
offering it. And they're doing like this, $99 intro. But what is the cost per month?
Exactly.
Because I'm sure they have a monthly membership plan.
Yes.
That cost is going to go up after a certain amount of time. And then, you think you're getting this deal, but you're probably paying the same thing that I would charge.
If not more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that personable experience. And so, I try to tell people like, listen, this is what I go over everything as best possible. But I always say I'm on this journey with you. So don't feel like you're by yourself.
Right.
And I try to make a point to reach out to people, whether it's via text or email, just to say, hey, how's it going? And if I haven't heard in a while, I'd be like, everything good? Do you need anything kind of deal? Just to try to stay engaged because, people can get lost out there trying to find their way or try to fix no, that's why I'm here.
Hello. Period. Get with it. So another question, how do you feel right after the drips? Do you need to take it easy and rest a few hours or just continue your day?
Oh no, you can go run a whole marathon.
Boom.
So again, everybody body absorb it different. So I will tell you a few examples. I had a lady that had COVID, just had brain fog, was a school teacher, actually came and got a drip, and she had heard it through the TV, like Kardashians and stuff. And so she came and got a drip, and then halfway through, she said, I could feel like something just changed. I had another lady that came. She came in, and I swear she was gonna fall over before she even sat down. But when she left out, you could see the perk in her. Like, I've even gotten drip myself. When I was literally, and Kim will tell you, I think we did a Zoom meeting, and I was getting my drip because I was feeling so like fatigued, tired, like I just brain fog. I was really like on the low. And so while we're doing our Zoom, I'm getting my drip and I could feel a little different. The next day I felt like, ooh, I feel so much better. So for most people, they can tell immediately. Some people can tell like a few hours later. Some people it takes a day, just because for some people, and I always say, you'll wake up and you feel like refreshed. You can eat lunch and not get sleepy. For me, I could stay up a little bit later and not feel so tired. My mouth wasn't dry either. And so for everybody is different. Just depends on how your body absorbs it. But generally, if you like go home and you might feel like you're tired, it's because your body is just like flushing toxins. Some people have had like a mild headache. It's just a whole toxin reaction. Your
Mm-hmm.
body has to flush it out. The next day, though, you feel amazing.
Mm.
And so it's amazing what the drip does. Just pure vitamins, y'all. I mean, and I'm not saying it because this is what I do, but I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I love helping people feel better. But this is just what people are telling me.
Boom. Boom. What more is there to say?
Yeah.
So let's speak to the fact of have you noticed any psychological or emotional transformations in clients alongside their physical results?
I think for some people, just because you're mentally exhausted and
Mhm.
tired, you just get like a little boost and a perk. And then honestly, just sitting, I have people, I've had people just come and talk. They just need
Mhm.
somebody to talk to, and I just sit and listen. You know, it's a safe space. Generally, if you come, I only book one person at a time unless you have like a cousin or somebody wanting to come with you.
Mhm.
But you know, it's just that people, just like I came and I downloaded
Yeah.
a little bit, and you feel better.
Mhm.
So it's not only just the drip, because it can, you know, you get that mental clarity and you just feel better. So that boosts your mood. You feel better physically, mentally. It just helps gives you clarity. But then you come in and you can talk about whatever it is you need to
Exactly.
talk about.
And the one thing that I want people to also know, of course, it's always good to download and have someone to talk to. But when you're getting your drip, that's your time. So even
Mhm.
if you want to just sit and relax for a moment and just, close your eyes and just reflect on the day, do that.
Yep.
Don't have any pressures of like, oh, well, I need to carry on a conversation. No, that is
Mm-mm.
your
Yep.
time. Bring a book, bring some noise canceling headphones or whatever, and just relax because
Yes.
it is about you making sure you get
That's
what
it.
you
Yep.
need.
And even if I have people ask, you want me to turn the light out? I'll turn the
Yeah.
light off. I have recliners. I have massagers on the
mhm.
recliner too. Um, and so this is your 45 minutes to 1 hour or however long it takes for you
Mhm.
to put your feet up and relax. Like I have jazz or some soothing music I'm always playing in the background. So
Mhm.
I try to set the atmosphere to be relaxing and just being able to come in and just be comfortable.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yep.
So let's talk about this. Can these treatments be customized for specific needs like improving sleep, reducing anxiety, and enhancing focus?
Oh yes, it can. So I have like standard drips online that people can see. Revitalize is always one that I go to because that's the Myers.
Mhm.
It has so many things in there that's beneficial because it has like magnesium, calcium,
Mm.
B12 in there, and I can always add like extra B12 for people. It has vitamin C and B, but just the fluid Sloan in these drips, the vitamins, you will have a really good night's sleep, a
Mm.
few good night sleeps actually. How long people feel good about on these drips, I'd usually say a week to week and a half. It just really is dependent on you, the person, and how your body absorbs it. But for me, I'd be knocked out.
I
Like
know that's right.
it could be thundering and I'm done. That's how good they make you feel.
And then how can people continue on with those results? So they
Yep.
took their drip, like you said, it
Mhm.
might be a week and a half, but what can I do for maintenance?
Yes. So you can still do like your orals, or you can come in like for every other week B12 shot or something to that
Mhm.
nature to kind of keep you boosted. Because what you don't know is our bodies don't produce B12, and a lot of us are deficient in it. And so you can still do like weekly or biweekly B12 shots.
Mhm.
I do have like memberships for drips in particular. So you can do like once a month, um, every other week. You can even do 4 drips in a month for a package deal. But I do encourage people, just for health maintenance, that just want to do this for health maintenance. It really depends on like what your goals are, your health goals. And so we talk about that. You can get most of these drips once a week.
Mhm.
You can do it every other week, twice a month, or generally I do recommend once a month.
Mm.
But in the meantime, you can still do your multivitamin, honestly, because it's not going to take you overboard. You're not going to OD on your vitamins.
Right.
But this is just going to help you maintain. But definitely like B12 shots is always good.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Awesome. So, how about this one? How do you handle clients who become overly reliant on treatments instead of adapting holistic lifestyle changes?
I think so. Because these are really safe. I usually just tell folks like, hey, you can still do. Well, one, it depends on their goals.
Right.
So let's talk about that. So, um, if your goal is to lose weight and you're doing your injections, still make sure you're eating right and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. With the drips, they are good once a week, every other week, once a month, however often we need to. But still doing those things that will get you the results that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure you're drinking plenty of water, you're exercising, eating right, those things to really bring you to overall health. I've had people come and say, how can I get off this medicine?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle change that you have to be committed to.
Right.
And so nothing is gonna just happen overnight. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Your body just didn't become that way overnight.
Exactly.
There's something that happens to build on that. So, just really, you have to have a mindset one to want to be able to
Mm-hmm.
see the change in yourself.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's also talk about stress and anxiety, because that went back to the question of like improving, like, can you do certain drips to improve specific needs? So stress, anxiety, we know can lead to high blood pressure.
Yes.
Which we also know can lead to more serious illnesses as
Mm-hmm.
well, because your blood pressure is extremely serious and you need to monitor
Yep.
that, which means you need to monitor your eating habits, your salt
Mm-hmm.
intake, your sleep,
Yep.
your anxiety. So what drips would you recommend specifically for that?
For that, I would say the Revitalize.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a good one. Also, I have just the back to basics, which is just like minerals, vitamin C and B.
Mhm.
So though between those two, I think
Mhm.
would be a go-to for that. Mm-hmm.
And has there been any, because I know we talked about, whispered about possibly incorporating CBD in the IV. Are there any, significant findings there of if you can actually do it?
So on TV, actually, we have talked about that a little bit. And so we still, need to talk more, have more conversation about that. But when I heard about it, I thought, that might be actually pretty good, because you never think about putting that in the IV. But we've definitely had conversation about that and some research that there's a company that offers that in a safe way.
Okay. Awesome.
But there's still, I have to vet and research just to make sure that is, people that it's appropriate. Rather.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So I think we have two more questions before we are at the top of
Okay.
the hour. Which one was this one? Nope, we already did that one. I think, what was it? Okay, here we go. Sorry. How do weight loss injections compare to other weight loss options like prescription pills or surgery in terms of safety and effectiveness?
So there's lots of options that people do. Popular one, pills, is phentermine that people have taken. I've actually taken it myself.
I have too.
And so it's a stimulant, but it causes like tachycardia, which is like fast heart rate, dry mouth. That would definitely dry you like a bone.
Constipation.
Yes. Woo. But it really works to help like lower your appetite, and it really like worked for me the time I needed it. But I did incorporate a low carb diet, so I lost like 20 pounds in a month. With it, obviously I gained it back. But that medicine, I don't know if I would recommend that. I wouldn't say take it long term, just because of the side effects of it. And then you have like your weight loss surgery. So there's different options, but even depending on like your weight, some doctors will recommend that I won't say recommend, they will tell you have to lose weight before you can even have surgery.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of things that go into that too, like mental health. I mean, we all see the show My 600-Pound Life. So Dr. Now, he is, tough on his patients for good reason, because no need in doing the surgery if you're going to go and revert right back to the same behaviors,
Absolutely.
because again, your stomach is a muscle and it's stretched.
Mm-hmm.
So you just put a little bit more in there each time and you're back to where you are. And so he makes you lose weight before you have surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So no different than most weight loss centers. And so weight loss surgery, I think they recommend for certain people, and some people do, and they are successful. Some people, may not lose the, amount of weight that they would hope to lose with it. But it's just, again, a lot of factors that play into that. And then you have the injectables. Again, very effective. You don't have to, get cut on a knife with a knife or anything. Um, in some cases, it can be a little expensive for some people, but it's probably honestly the better option than going under the knife or taking something that's causing your heart to beat out your chest. That's not good long term. And these you can really take long term to make it to where you can take it longer term.
Exactly. And the one downside of phentermine, along with the other side effects, like, yes, it was effective, and it affected my sleep. I couldn't sleep because my heart was constantly racing and racing and racing and racing. So yes, it worked for me going to the gym.
Yep.
But it was affecting my nightly habits, and like you said, the dry mouth, the constipation, and then just feeling like your heart is going to explode.
Yep.
I don't know anyone on this earth that enjoys that feeling, because then now that's aiding to my anxiety, which is aiding to my stress.
Yes.
Yep.
Then you'll need to come get a drip.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So I guess it's the question of how effective is effective if it's not really helping your day to day.
Right.
Whereas, like you said, with the injections, first month in, the only thing that I've had some experience with is heartburn every, so often. Like you said, but you pop a Tom and you just keep it right on moving.
It.
Yep.
Don't eat after a certain time.
Exactly. But I haven't had, and I love spicy food, so that's my issue too. But I haven't had any other side effects like I have had with a phentermine, or anything like that. So I'm telling y'all, just one day y'all gonna listen to us. But anyway, and our final question is, hold on, because my mouse wants to act stupid. You know what? The devil is working overtime for us today. But it says, what do you think about influencers promoting these therapies without proper medical understanding?
That's I do struggle with that because people listen to these influencers.
They do.
And they're influencing you for the dollars. And I'm trying to use my words carefully, because people listen to these influencers and, it's such and such. Like, no. Again, it goes back to talking to the medical provider who has the knowledge and the education to guide you in the right way. Fine, you're listening to influencers, and hopefully they encourage you to come see me.
Hello.
But you just have to be careful about these influencers who have no medical knowledge, and even people, just regular folks that talk about, you shouldn't do that. Well, people will always give you their opinion, but they're not living in your body. They don't know what you're feeling. Meanwhile, they're feeling good, slim and trim, and doing all the things that their hormones are acting right. Yours aren't. So you just have to really be careful about who you listen to, who you let into your inner you. Because there's so much negativity, and honestly, not everybody mean you well. A lot of these influencers are talking because it's the hot topic and the latest thing, and their goal is to make themselves money.
Thank you. And I need people to understand that, from the marketing aspect of it, is it effective? 100%, because people aren't looking, they don't want to research. They want to be told what to do.
Exactly.
Sometimes we give people entirely too much credit than what they deserve. And that's why influencers are so popular, because you're telling me how to move. You're telling me what to do, just like with AI. I don't have to think.
Right.
This is just populated for me. All I have to do is give it a prompt. Just like with influencers, you don't have to think. If you're looking for, weight loss, if you're looking for a certain type of shirt, if you're looking for a certain type of restaurant, they are getting paid, especially for someone who has a ridiculous amount of followers. they're getting paid handsomely
Yep.
to lead you and guide you to where they want you to go. And it's not the best. It's
Right.
just that these people are saying, here's a check. Now go out here and make it happen. And what do? They'll make it happen. Now they may go off camera and be like, that shit was nasty. This did not work for me. It's terrible. But as soon as I turn that camera on and my check has cleared, guess what? It's the best thing since sliced bread. It's amazing. Love it. Which is why I tell people sometimes it's best to listen to the person who doesn't really have a lot of followers, who isn't really uploading as much as possible because they don't have nothing to gain. There's no transaction going on. There's no money. They're literally just going based off of the simple fact of I love this product. So pay attention to things like that. Pay attention to engagement. Pay attention to whomever it is that is, who the company is. Pay attention to if they actually have real testimonials from everyday people that look like you. Because you can't sit here and tell me, oh, this weight loss program is for you when you don't have anyone who looks like me, whether it is my skin tone or my shape. Then why should I invest? And be mindful of that too, because a lot of these companies have gotten smart. So what they'll do is they'll hire people who look a certain type of way because they know that we will want to spend our dollars if we see that we're being represented.
That is true. That is true.
So just be mindful of that. Do your research. Do as much research as you possibly can before you sit here and say, well, yes, I'm going to jump into this full on balls to the wall because of what I heard one influencer say. And we had Jewel here last time when we were talking about things like the Japanese skincare, the 12-step program. If you're listening to influencers, oh, that's the way that you need to continue on with your skincare. You need to invest. And yes, you should invest, but invest in what works for you. So just be mindful of that as you guys are on your journey. And of course, if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with Dr. Jan. You can always go to
www.embodihydration.com.
Boom. And she's there. She doesn't have any AI robots or anything like that. It is literally her. So she is there to answer any questions you have, schedule a consultation. And can we please start circling our dollars back into our community?
Please.
Just saying.
I love us
so much.
But we need to do better. We got to get our health in order. Truly.
You heard it. That's why y'all keep playing around. You better watch. In the summertime, I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to get on your nerves. Yeah. I'm going to get on your nerves. I told you there's a reason why God is keeping me fluffy because he knows I'm going to act out. So but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. This is what this platform is for. This is what Dr. Janze is here for, to educate you. And in the new year, we will have a special guest on Embody Balance where we're going to be talking about nutrition. So, we're talking about the IV hydration. We're talking about injections. Now we got to get your eating in order.
That's it.
So once you get all these steps together, you will feel so much better. So we got on TV for your mental and the topical. We got Dr. Janze for your internal and weight loss. And then, like I said, now we're going to get a nutritionist who's going to help you eat. And we're going to make sure that she gives recipes that people actually want to eat. Because don't sit here and don't sit here and give me something. It's like, nah, girl, that shit don't taste good.
Because there's a lot, and to that point, there's a lot of diets that, is very strict. And I can follow something for a while, but then I get bored easily, and I can't eat stuff. I can't eat the same thing for 3 days. Like now we're maxing out. Give me 2 days and I'm good.
Quinoa and sweet potato and chicken.
And so the diet that I always encourage people to do is high protein, low carb, low fat, and no added sugar, because you can do a lot of things with that. So of course, portion control, but you don't get bored with it. And so when you see my weight loss journal, it will have all that information. It talks about stress, IV hydration, of course, just different things to help you along the way. And, just encouraging you to not feel bad about where you are. We're here, but let's do something about it.
Exactly. And yes, Miss Donna, fluffy. I am fluffy, honey.
Hey, Donna.
I've accepted it. You got me at portion control. Yes. Because that's the other thing I think, and we'll mention this before we get out of here. People sometimes deprive themselves on their diets, and then that's what sets them up for failure. Where it's okay, but just don't go overboard.
Right.
Like there's nothing wrong with craving and wanting that cheesecake, but don't sit here and have 3 slices.
Right.
Right. So just be mindful of that. There are a lot of options as far as portion control and ways that you can have that. And what I have learned in, my weight loss journeys, I've done a lot, is when it's not a part of your everyday and you try it, you really realize like, I don't even want that no more. Or you feel a certain type of way because like, I don't like how that made me feel. So, just
figure out what works for you. I mean, like I said, I've tried lots of things, lots of fad diets and all that. And I became fluffy.
Fluffy is
not in the places I wanted either, but but being on this, honestly has been life changing for me. Like I can't even stress enough. And I always say physically I feel better, mentally I feel better. And it definitely has done something for me.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're thinking about weight loss injections or just weight loss in general, if you're thinking about IV hydration, this is the woman that you need to speak to. So please, please, please use your resources. That's what we have TDS for, is for this platform to get you guys the answers. And we're doing the research for you so you don't have to. And then to answer the questions that you may need. So we'll be back, like I said, next month with a nutritionist. So we're going to put all of this together, get you the tools that you need so that come, summer into fall, you are feeling like your best you. And TDS, Dr. Janze, and our crew, we're going to help you get there.
That's right.
You guys have an amazing day, amazing week. Finish strong, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Bye now.